What if I told you that half of the internet's most terrifying mysteries never actually happened? That millions of people have been genuinely frightened by stories that were completely fabricated? Welcome to the Internet Hoax Challenge, where we separate digital fact from fiction and discover how the web doesn't just spread lies, it creates entire mythologies. Tonight, we're investigating 5 viral mysteries that captivated the world. Some fooled everyone. Others were surprisingly real. But all of them reveal something fascinating about human psychology and our relationship with fear in the digital age. Let's start with a nightmare that began as an art project. Picture this, it's 2009, and Eric Knudsen, using the username Victor Surge, enters a simple Photoshop contest on Something Awful forums. His challenge? Create paranormal images that look authentic. He submits 2 black and white photographs showing children at play, but lurking in the background stands an impossibly tall, faceless figure in a black suit. Knudsen calls his creation Slender Man and writes a chilling backstory. This entity allegedly stalks children in forests and schoolyards, appearing in photographs just before people disappear. The images are haunting, the story compelling, and within hours, the internet explodes with Slender Man content. What happens next is extraordinary. People begin sharing their own Slender Man encounters. Forums fill with testimonials from users claiming they've seen him. Elaborate backstories emerge about his centuries-long reign of terror. YouTube channels dedicated to Slender Man investigations gain millions of views. The character spawns video games, documentaries, and eventually a Hollywood movie. But here's the terrifying truth. Slender Man was completely fictional, yet he inspired real-world violence. In 2014, 2 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin stabbed their friend 19 times, claiming Slender Man commanded them to do it. Their victims survived, but the incident revealed how digital mythology could manifest in horrific reality. Slender Man demonstrates the internet's power to transform creative fiction into perceived truth. Within 5 years, a Photoshop contest entry became a global phenomenon that genuinely frightened millions and tragically influenced vulnerable minds. Now let's travel back to the 1980s Portland arcade scene for our second mystery. Imagine discovering a video game so psychologically dangerous that government agents monitor everyone who plays it. This is the legend of Polybius, supposedly the most sinister arcade game ever created. According to the myth, Polybius machines appeared in Portland arcades around 1981. The game was allegedly so addictive that players experienced seizures, hallucinations, and memory loss. Witnesses claimed men in black suits regularly visited arcades to collect data from these mysterious machines. Then, just as suddenly as they appeared, every Polybius cabinet vanished without a trace. The story suggests Polybius was a secret government psychological experiment, testing mind control techniques on unsuspecting arcade visitors. For decades, this tale circulated among gaming enthusiasts as the ultimate urban legend. But when researchers investigated, they found absolutely nothing. No arcade operators remembered Polybius machines. No government documents referenced the project. No physical evidence existed anywhere. The shocking truth? The entire Polybius legend began in 2000 with a single post on coinop.org, an arcade collecting website. An anonymous user submitted a brief description of this mysterious game, and the internet did the rest. Gaming forums, YouTube videos, and conspiracy websites transformed one person's creative writing into gaming's most persistent myth. Polybius reveals how the internet can manufacture historical events that never occurred. A single post became accepted gaming history, demonstrating our collective willingness to believe compelling stories, especially when they involve government conspiracies and lost technology. Our third mystery involves one of America's most beloved cultural figures. For over 50 years, people have whispered that Walt Disney's body lies frozen in a cryogenic chamber beneath Disneyland, waiting for medical science to advance enough to revive him. This rumor began shortly after Disney's death in 1966. The story gained traction because it perfectly matched Disney's image as a futuristic visionary obsessed with tomorrow's possibilities. After all, this was the man who created Tomorrowland and constantly pushed technological boundaries. The cryonics myth resurged powerfully in the internet age. Websites dedicated to conspiracy theories featured detailed analyses of Disney's supposed freezing. Forums debated the technical feasibility of preserving his body. Some claimed secret Disney company documents proved the cryonic preservation occurred, but the reality is disappointingly mundane. Walt Disney was cremated 2 days after his death and interred at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in California. His death certificate is public record. Family members have repeatedly confirmed the cremation occurred normally. So why did this myth persist for decades? The Disney cryonics legend endured because it felt emotionally true. People wanted to believe that Walt Disney, the man who brought magic to millions, had found a way to cheat death itself. The story satisfied our desire for wonder in an increasingly mundane world. This brings us to our fourth mystery, one that inspired the hit series Stranger Things. Deep beneath Long Island's Montauk Point, according to legend, the United States government conducted horrific secret experiments involving mind control, time travel, and alien contact. The Montauk Project allegedly began in the 1970s at the decommissioned Camp Hero military base. Witnesses claimed scientists used psychic children to manipulate time and space. Stories emerged of dimensional portals, telepathic experiments, and contact with extraterrestrial beings. The project supposedly connected to the infamous Philadelphia experiment, creating an elaborate mythology of government supernatural research. These stories gained massive traction online, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and eventually serving as inspiration for Stranger Things. The Montauk legend perfectly captured Cold War paranoia, combining fears of government overreach with fascination for psychic phenomena. However, after decades of investigation, no credible evidence supports any Montauk Project claims. The stories trace back to a single source, Preston Nichols, who began promoting Montauk theories in the 1990s through books and lectures. No government documents, no physical evidence, no corroborating witnesses have ever emerged. The Montauk Project succeeded because it blended legitimate historical concerns with compelling science fiction elements. During the Cold War, the government did conduct unethical psychological experiments, making fictional projects seem plausible. The internet allowed these stories to spread globally, transforming local folklore into international conspiracy theory. But not every internet legend is fabricated. Our final case proves that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are completely true. On November 22, 1987, Chicago television viewers experienced something unprecedented. During the evening news on WGN, their screens suddenly filled with static. Then, a figure wearing a Max Headroom mask appeared, swaying eerily against a corrugated metal background. For about 30 seconds, this mysterious intruder delivered bizarre, mostly inaudible commentary before the station regained control. 2 hours later, the hijackers struck again during a Doctor Who broadcast on WTTW. This time, the interruption lasted nearly 90 seconds. The masked figure spoke more clearly, making strange references and ending with a disturbing spanking scene before the signal cut out. Unlike our previous mysteries, the Max Headroom incident was completely real. The Federal Communications Commission launched a massive investigation. The hijacking required sophisticated technical knowledge and expensive equipment. Someone had successfully overpowered television transmitters, committing a federal crime watched by hundreds of thousands of people. Yet, despite extensive investigation, the perpetrators were never identified. No arrests were made. No confessions emerged. The Max Headroom signal intrusion remains one of broadcasting's greatest unsolved mysteries. This case demonstrates that reality can be stranger than fiction. While the internet created elaborate mythologies around fictional events, a genuinely mysterious incident occurred in the pre-internet era and remains unexplained decades later. So, which stories fooled you? Did you believe in Slenderman's ancient origins? Were you convinced Polybius machines terrorized 1980s arcades? Did Walt Disney's cryonic preservation seem plausible? These cases reveal something profound about human psychology in the digital age. We're naturally drawn to mysterious stories, especially those involving government conspiracies, supernatural entities, or lost technology. The internet amplifies these tendencies, allowing compelling fiction to spread faster than fact-checking can keep pace. But perhaps most importantly, these hoaxes often reveal deeper truths about our collective fears and desires. Slender Man reflects anxiety about childhood vulnerability. Polybius embodies concerns about government manipulation. Disney's cryonics myth expresses our refusal to accept mortality. The Montauk Project channels Cold War paranoia. The internet doesn't just spread hoaxes. It creates entire mythologies that sometimes matter more than truth itself. In our connected world, the line between fact and fiction continues blurring, making critical thinking more essential than ever before.